Welcome to the Remain Indoors podcast, where we discuss news and stuff, the topics of the day. We have a grumble, but mostly we're just, kind of nerds who remain indoors. Hi, I'm your host, Richard Spanners Ready, who clearly didn't have my normal intro up front ready to read as I normally do, so I'll pass that podcasting football over to Matt Two Rumpets instead to spare my blushes.
Oh, and I'm supposed to read something now? I'm just supposed to respond to your prompt quickly so we can bring in our guest. That's literally what it says on our notes.
Well, you're meant to add just an air of professionalism to it. Like, that's the ship is wobbling. Here I am, the XO, to steady the ship, go on the tannoy, tell everybody everything's under control. Let's win this one for the Klingon Empire, or whichever faction you happen to belong to.
I see. Well, I find it to be professional to complain immediately about circumstances that are not up to my standards, such as a lack of things to be read when I'm told I'm to read a thing.
I didn't say to read a thing. I was just passing over to you just as like a rescue tonic. That's what you were. You were meant to be the cure-all. But now we're at... Do you know what we need? We need one of my stupid, useless kids to come in and be like our director. And I'm finding the one that's 10... is becoming increasingly useful. So, Uncle Felix, our graphics guy from Missed Apex podcast, he sat on a Zoom call for an hour with me and the boy, and the girl actually as well, and gave us all a Photoshop lesson. And they're all clicking away, clicking buttons, and I don't know what's going on. Photoshop is witchcraft. But the boys, rotate the layer on the axis and then do the alpha block or whatever. And he's like, yeah, got it. In the end, it's just Felix and Oscar chatting. I'm like, pfft. So I think he's just going to do all my graphics for me in return for a pitiful amount of money. Like, children have no sense of their own self-worth. You can give them a very small amount of money to do quite complex and time-consuming things.
I love this because my daughter already does all my graphics for me for free and does a lot of stuff for my wife too. But even better, you'll appreciate this. Now she's 15. My wife, actually, I told you she had work last week. My wife actually dragged my daughter to work to do actual work for her, to do digital archiving of sources for shows. And she didn't get it done. So now the work has been dragged home and my daughter is still working on it for absolutely $0, just for literal experience at this point. It's so great.
What a sucker. What a mug. Children are stupid. But I tell you what, so we've got that sorted. We've got the boy coming in to do graphics. Maybe we'll find a way to exploit your spawn as well to benefit this project. But also, we need someone to bring in that certain kind of energy that we lack. And that person so often is girlrunninglate.com's Lauren Thomas. Good afternoon, Lauren.
Hello, how are you both doing?
I'm doing very well. And you have this strange effect on me where you have like a peer pressure effect. So I've been pretty... A fear, yeah.
It's fear.
You're like a running mum, It's a bit of a, there's like a nag factor, isn't there? Sorry, our younger running mum. I beg your pardon.
Youngest weirdo.
Should I have said...
Way to go.
Yeah,
just make it weird up front, why don't you?
I've offended our guest horribly. I did not mean to imply that you look so old and craggy that you would be my mother or someone who would pass as my mother age-wise, because that would make you someone in your mid-60s. So
What's my status now? You've literally just... 60 seconds that took.
Do you know what? I was sat there, Matt. I had a whole compliment thing lined up, and then it slipped into just telling her she looks old and disgusting.
Well done. So I'll just throw in there that I haven't missed a single day running since you were last on the show.
Yeah, let's talk about how unfit Spanners is. Here we go. Let's launch into that straight away, shall we?
So 2 weeks without like a proper run, right? Been out loads with the kids, been out on our bikes. I'll get into some of that later. But knowing that you were going to come on the show, I was like, oh, crap. So I've got to get out there and do a run so that the guilt isn't there. So I at least can speak to you now, having just been out on a 5K. But, I did struggle a bit because I pulled a muscle in the inner core of my soul. I did not enjoy it. There was, after 2 weeks without, everything just kind of feels a bit heavy. And I got a stitch.
I'm not sure what you expect if 2 weeks out of not doing any running, really. It's going to be a bit more difficult. And you picked like a really grotty day to go out as well. So you're not exactly inclined to spend time in the great outdoors when it's pouring with rain.
Yeah, it was a muggy heat as well. So it's like you're just suffocated by wet heat.
Yeah, it's not nice out there at the moment, but you need to. I mean, it's like you have to work these muscles. You can't sort of do nothing for 2 weeks and then get out there and expect it to be easy. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
But I don't know. I have to be in. Matt can just get out there and do running all the time. I think I have to be in the right mood to go running. And I don't have that same kind of energy and motivation. You have to just go do it. You know, I feel like I need a motivation. So, you know, in the before time, I could sit there and go, oh, I am a cog in a machine, and machines don't get tired. Just keep pushing. You can rest when you're dead. But now I'm out there running and I'm going, you're a presenter, like Featherlight entertainment presenter at best. You can just stop and just be old and fat. So like the motivation isn't quite there for me to get out and do running.
I think it's not the right kind of motivation. You need to look at it a different way. I think you always kind of view it as punishment. There's some sort of like weird self-loathing thing going on. Oh no, I ate a pizza. I must go for a run. But you should go because you want to go, because you're going to get some fresh air, because it's good for your mental health, not because you feel guilt.
My only real motivation is to not look like a giant Malteser, Lauren. Like, it is all aesthetic. So if I was to become terribly ill and lose a stone, like, I would have no motivation to go running, because I'm going to be like, oh, look, I might be ill, but I'm skinny and beautiful. But the not piling on tons of weight is the only thing that ever gets me out running.
Yeah, weight is not the only indicator of good health, though, is it?
Yeah,
you know that. It's not just about what you look like. It's about heart health. It's about bone density. There's so many things that running improve and make better.
I've never actually thought of the health benefits of it. I like being fit. I like being able to play sport, but it is mostly the shame of looking in the mirror and going, look at you, you disgusting piece of crap. Look, what would 25-year-old you think of you? That's what gets me out running. But Matt.
Okay, well, now I know that. I will text you on a regular basis.
And just say, I saw that picture of you. Yeah. You look like a big, disgusting, sweaty.
You look like a giant Malteser.
You look like a giant Malteser.
Fine.
I mean, it's worryingly true, though. My head is very Malteser shaped. And especially if I get a tan in the summer. But bone density, like that. So does that help Matt? Because Matt's getting to that age, and I'm not being mocking Matt, but as you get into late middle age, like, bone density is a real concern, isn't it?
I think more so for women than for men, but yeah, in general, actually I read a paper from British Journal of Sports Medicine just last week where they looked at all-cause mortality and exercise in leisure time, which didn't include any particular fitness you might gain on the job. Like, oh, I have to walk a lot for my job, or I move a lot for my job. Like, say I work in a warehouse stocking shelves. Yeah. But they looked at all-cause mortality, and it was 75 minutes of intense cardiac activity, cardiovascular activity, which was defined as sweating and or significantly elevated heart rate, and twice a week resistance exercise provided the most benefits. If you were going with low intensity cardio, it was 150 minutes a week. Why do I know this? Thank you, Twitter. I can't actually finish anything I start anymore, but I do remember random and useless stuff like this.
Good. Well, that all sounds legit. At least. Lauren, can I ask your expert opinion? What is a stitch? Why did I get a stitch on the way out, and then why did it suddenly disappear?
That's your diaphragm spasming. So it's all to do with your breathing. So if you get a stitch, it's your diaphragm having like a contraction.
What's the diaphragm? And, is that the bit here under my ribs?
Yeah, the big bit that helps you breathe, dude.
Oh, the in and outy bit. Okay, I know that.
Yeah, I'm not going to actually go into science for it. I don't know, but we all have diaphragms. They help you breathe. I'm not really helping myself here. So the reason you get a stitch, it's to do with your breathing just being completely out of whack, right? So there's a reason why they always talk about the 3-2 breathing technique.
Yes. And
we've talked about this before. So that's when you breathe in for 3 steps, breathe out for 2. And that way, that first sort of forceful out breath is always on alternate sides. So you're keeping your body balanced. But if you do get a stitch, what you can do, you've got to be willing to look like an idiot, which I know you're not good with, even though it seems to come quite naturally. You need to run with your arms up in the air.
Right, what?
You've got to stretch out and put your arms up in the air just for like a few steps, because you need to stretch out the diaphragm again. Or you can get a fist and kind of just push it into the side of the diaphragm where it's spasming, try and loosen it off.
Right, okay. Or I could be running next to you, insult your physical appearance, and you could punch me in the gut, and that would have the same effect.
Exactly, right. That'd be perfect.
So that makes sense to me, actually, because, I was definitely breathing better in the second half of the run today, but on the way out, I had your voice in my head. Like, we could never compete against with each other on anything because you are so in my brain when it comes to this stuff. And it was the voice in your head going, oh, it's so adorable how you run off like a 9-year-old and use up all your energy at the beginning of the run. So I'm sitting there going, oh, no, I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to go nice and steady. But in the nice and steady, I didn't do the kind of intense 2-3 breathing to get me into that zone. And once I sort of picked that up, it sort of undid the stitch, which is quite nice because normally I think of stitch as game over, but because you've taught me about the breathing, I kind of concentrated on that. So yeah, it tracks.
It's a really, really good technique, the 3-2 breathing technique. You can make it any number. If you find that's a little bit too shallow, you can breathe in for 4 sets, out for 3. But the important thing is to always have 1 breath more on the intake than the outtake.
Ah, there we go. I've done that with the kids as well. And I think, the thing that feels unnatural, Matt, is getting people to go, no, you need to fill all your lungs. No, sir, all of them.
Yeah, as a musician, I got to say, this is going to bother me intensely because a lot of times when I run, even though I'm not listening to music, like I'll have a tempo or rhythm in my head, and that's usually like 4/4. But like now you're describing a 5. So that means when I'm running, the only songs I'm ever going to hear in my head are going to be based in 5 or 7. And there's just not a lot of those. And they're not always the most catchy things, if I'm being honest.
Lauren doesn't run with music.
Matt,
she doesn't believe in it.
Matt knows how to run anyway. He's fine. He's not getting stitches. He can do whatever works for him, really.
Yeah, I'm the only problem child here. But at least I did it. Got out and about.
You did. We're all very proud.
Yeah, no, my only problem is actually staying upright when I run.
Okay, Matt, go on, tell us about this.
So, all right. So you should know that the park is about half a mile-ish from my house. And to get there, I have to run over a pedestrian bridge, down a roadway, and cross either 1 or 2 traffic-bearing. I have to cross 2 traffic-bearing streets to get to the park. And on one side of the end of the pedestrian bridge is not paved. It's like a dirt track with huge holes where trucks have double parked that fill up with water. And if you run around those, then you're basically almost running into trees with branches that come down very low. So it's a tricky thing to run. And I was out the other day, and what I forgot, because as I came off the bridge, I was looking because there was traffic coming towards me, and I'm trying to gauge, can I get across the street before the traffic gets to me? Always a fun game to play as a runner. And I'd forgotten that there used to be a stop sign there, or a traffic sign there, and they'd removed it, but they didn't remove it by taking it all the way out. They just sawed it off about 1.5 inches, about 3-4 centimeters above the ground. And so as I'm running, I catch my right foot on this metal stump.
Oh, no.
And the next thing you know, I'm falling like I'm 18 years old and still playing soccer with my friends full tilt, and I've just been blindsided by somebody, tackled. And so I hit the ground, roll, bounce right back up, take a couple of steps. I'm like, okay, the toe hurts, but it's not broken. I can keep on running. And the leg kind of hurts. And as I'm running, you know that feeling when you've cut yourself, but you've not looked down, and you're like,
oh, I hate
think
that.
there's blood. Yeah, I'm like, okay, so there's definitely that, and there's definitely some swelling, and as it went on, it got worse. But the worst thing about it was I got home, and now clearly I'm injured. I'm covered in dirt. I've got dirt on my hands because I was rolling on a dirt surface. I walk in the house, and now like I'm injured. Like my leg basically is just hanging by a thread. The living room where my wife is. I even limp a little bit more just to make. Did she notice? No, not at all. Not a single thing.
I'm telling you, I've been saying this for ages. Wives are real bastards. That's just like Lauren. You have no sympathy for your husband, I'm sure. Why is it women never kind of acknowledge our deep pain, especially when we've got
because women are born with pain. That's why you cannot compare. Women are born with pain. Don't get me started on this one. But if you start bleeding once a month for 40 years of your life, see how you get on with that, and then you come running crying to us.
Yeah, all right. I'm not going to argue back with that, Matt. Do you have a counter argument? Because I'm all out of counter arguments.
I never really had a counter argument. I was just disappointed she didn't notice my brave sacrifice in trying to maintain my health.
And just how manly you were to even make it home at all. Yeah,
I mean, like I have scars now again after all these years.
All we want, Lauren, is a parade for that kind of thing. Is that so much to ask? Is like a welcome home parade? That's all.
Just a casual parade.
Yeah, that's all we want.
Cool.
I love. There's a few things I've made a note of there. We're telling that story. The one is where you injure yourself and don't look down. Like kids are the best for that. So like I can't remember what my daughter did. She fell off a scooter. So there was like several injury points, and she was focused on one that was a graze, but there was like a couple that were actually dripping with blood. And as soon as she noticed that, she just started crying way more, and suddenly it was like an intense pain that she had never really noticed before. Matt.
John's Baller's wife says his wife tells him to uterus up when he gets complaining about stuff.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
I'm stealing that. That is brilliant.
Uterus up. That is way. John, hello. Our chat room, by the way, full of people who come and listen live. Simon, John, Kaylee, Mike, Grant, Tom, Lucas. Hello, guys. Roboland. I'll stop scrolling now. It's not that interesting just scrolling up a live chat room. But you must have some injuries from running as well, Lauren. Don't tell me you are like one of those robots where you knock them down and they self-right all the time. Like a Weeble.
No. I'm an incredibly clumsy person, and I broke my nose when I tripped over my own feet running once. I was running down like the only incline in Ely, it's like the flattest place in the world. Tripped over my own feet and just landed on my face. So a little trip to A&E, and you can still feel the bump here. I sheared bone off the front of my nose.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. Other than that, it's just the usual kind of tendon-based injuries. I've had a bit of posterior tibial tendonitis. I've had IBT syndrome, plantar fasciitis. That's a real blighter. But
IBT is that the tummy one? IBT is that
no, that's IBS.
Oh, okay. It's confused.
ITB is your iliotibial band. It's the big, thick, ropey tendon that goes from your hip to the outside of your knee.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yep. That was gross. All of that was disgusting. I actually hate injuries. I'm very squeamish when it comes to injuries like that. And I hate that moment of pain and you go, internal body check. How bad is this? How bad is this? Oh, yep, that's pretty bad. And I don't like it. But Matt, you talked about getting to the traffic and trying to time it. So, can I get across before the traffic comes? I'm the exact opposite, Lauren. This won't surprise you. That as I'm coming to a road, I'm like going, I don't know, that car's pretty close. It's about half a mile away. What? Better safe than sorry. We'd best stop here, wait for that car and the next one to go past, then we'll go.
You should be using it as like interval training. Just sprint, dude. Make you faster.
We're very different people, Lauren. Look, big news in the Lauren Thomas household. So you came here at the beginning of lockdown, and you had, a heartbreaking separation from your cat who got cancer and died. And what was that cat's name? Sorry, I didn't say that.
Yes, and she died. Yes, indeed she did. Yeah, Minnie, bless her. Had
sorry.
12 and a half years.
I should have said that more sensitively. Minnie, who sadly left us, that kind of thing.
Sorry about that. Trotted over the Rainbow Bridge nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. So who went to the big farm in the sky.
No, she died. You're fine.
Yeah. Right, okay,
it's very matter of fact. That is what happened, and it's been 12 weeks now. So,
but this was no trivial matter. She was a proper companion to you, and it really, really left a hole in your heart at the time. I'm not trying to do this to stir it up and make you cry for ratings, but at a time when we all really needed company and assurance, and to have the lockdown and your freedom taken away, and then losing that beloved friend and pet. It was all like the timing sucked, and I'm just glad now when I look on your feed, or was it a message you sent? I can't remember, that there are 2 little heart plugs now in your house.
Yeah, so it's not on my Instagram feed, only so I can't get close enough to them for a good photo yet. But yeah, we adopted 2 kittens from the Cats Protection League last week. So we're just getting them settled. So if I'm slightly distracted, it's because I'm trying to stop one of them leaping off something or doing something they shouldn't do.
I will say that when it comes to taking photos, cats are probably even worse than teenage children. They just do not wish to cooperate.
No, they really don't. Every time you try, you think, this is going to be gorgeous, and then just turn at the last second, and all you get is just like a bit of cheek and earwax. It just... They are the absolute worst.
But the picture you sent to me, they're not like teeny, tiny little kittens. They're quite medium-sized kittens.
They're 5 months old, so they've got a bit of size to them, yeah. So one of them's bigger than the other. We've definitely got a bit of a runt and a normal one.
But by that time, they're like They're basically small adult cats. They're not like when you get them as teeny tiny kittens. Like there's a lot of faff to like making sure they're okay. And yes, they are really adorable when they're really tiny. But in a lot of ways, it probably is better to just get like more adolescent cats.
Yeah, they're juveniles. I think they'd fall into that category. One of them just trying to get up here, the runt one, and she's not quite big enough, and she's going to cane it in a second.
You know you want to pick her up and put her to the camera. You know you want to.
I can't quite grab it. I don't want to freak her out.
Go on, Matt.
Do they do that thing where when they can't get up, they just jump up and dig their little needle claws into your flesh and climb you like you're a rock wall?
Not me yet, but the armchair is not going to survive. it's going to be it's just a giant scratchy posty armchair.
So what, are they restricted to the conservatory at the moment, or do they have?
Yes, this is their domain for now until they've kind of acclimatized, I suppose. So the other one, so we've got Ripley down here, and then the one that's hiding is Ripley and Newt.
Yes, it's after Aliens. Yeah. I was going to say it's Aliens. Brilliant names, Ripley and Newt.
We've got Ripley and Newt. So Ripley's the brave one. Even though she's a smaller one, she's really brave. And then Newt is hiding under the armchair.
Oh, man. Well, Newt doesn't make it to the sequel, though. So I'm not sure that's the best name.
I'm only planning on having one movie with these guys. It's fine.
Okay, cool. Well, don't travel to any prison planets because Newt's not going to make it and they're not going to explain why. Nobody's going to tell you why.
Well, it's a good job on a big old travel ban, isn't it, really?
Yeah, good. Oh, I'm glad you've got those two little ones then. And how are they treating you? Do they feel like they're at home yet? How long have you had them?
Only 6 days. So it's still really new. So Ripley's good. She's fine with being fussed. She really likes attention. Newt will let you touch her when you're playing with her. If you've got like a toy out, she kind of loses her inhibitions a bit more. Then she'll suddenly realise what you're doing and go, and just like run away again. But they're definitely, every day, they're getting a little bit braver, a little more comfortable. But we had to take Ripley to the vet already this morning.
Right. Oh, really? Nothing bad, I hope.
She's got a, I think it's called a seroma. So where she was neutered, because she's so bonkers, she's managed to get a big swelling underneath the stitches. And it's just liquid. There's nothing bad. But she's just, it looks really gnarly, looks really messy.
Oh, shame.
So.
It's interesting with how the cats kind of warm to you and develop to you. Like both our kittens weren't particularly like affectionate, and neither of them are lap cats. And when I grew up, the two cats we had, they were both lap cats. They would jump up on your lap and they would stroke them. Our cats don't do that. They come up to you and go, give me the amount of affection I require. No, exactly only the amount of affection and now I shall pick a spot 2 meters away from you. And like literally, if you then shuffle up and go, oh, I want to come in for more cuddles, she'll just look at you and go, okay, I've identified another spot 2 meters away. I'll go there now. So they only come in like, but even then it's taken them a long time to get like that. They're just not particularly clingy cats.
I feel like, heads up, one of them's getting into the list tray next to me. So just FYI, if you hear noises, it's the cat.
Yeah, it's definitely not Lauren covering up for her making weird noises. And
this is going to be awful.
Matt.
But it'll be brilliant podcasting, I will say. No, our house, we have had cats before, and none of them have been proper lap cats. My wife has always wanted a lap cat. And finally, with this last set of cats we've adopted, she's gotten herself her proper lap cat. But what has happened because of the nature of these cats is our house is now filled with things like baskets, empty cardboard boxes, and paper bags that they just love to hang out in all day long.
Yeah, you can buy the nicest toys in the world, and they would much prefer the packaging.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but we had just got something, and my wife emptied out the box, and she turned around to break it down, and already one of our cats was in it, and she spent the whole day in there like, I know what your plan is, and I'm going to immediately keep you from enacting it.
This is my box. Yeah. So we've got a bit of a cat situation actually in our house at the moment. One of our cats is a real roamer, like has a huge territory, the boy cat, and goes out like all around the neighborhood. And to the point, like we walk our cat. Like, the listeners here know that we take our cats for a walk. And we were walking back past a house, and we were going, "Come on, Loki, come with us!" Woo, whistle, because I whistle. Come on, come here, Loki. Look quite mad. And these people in their front garden went, "Oh, is that your cat?" I was like, "Yeah, that's our cat." And he's like, oh, well, we know it as the cat who walks with us on our morning walk from here past our house. And he goes, yeah. So this cat will just keep us company on our walk and keep up and go, oh, that's nice. But also, like, sometimes he comes back smelling of cigarette smoke and not hungry. So we think he goes and hangs out in a house, gets food, and they smoke in their house or in their garden or whatever, and comes back and smells. And he spends a lot of time at our neighbour's house because they've got a cat and they let him in to play with their cat. So, but we're kind of getting to the point where, like, no, he's our cat. Like, we need to make sure that he knows he lives here. And things like, he's got a cat flap at our house, but he will meow at the door next to the cat flap because that's what he does at his other houses that he visits because there's no cat flap. So he just goes meow until they let him in. And then he does that at our house. And we're like, no, you live here, you dumb cat.
Way back when,
Sorry, Matt, go on.
I was going to say way back when I was a child, it just made me think our neighbors had a Siamese cat that when it wanted to come in would actually jump up and ring the doorbell.
No, get out of it.
Yep. Absolutely would ring the doorbell.
That's incredible. I mean, Ripley is definitely starting to understand what door handles do. So she sort of sees me going into the utility room to get their food, and then she'll be on the armchair sort of pawing at the door handle. So there's definitely going to be trouble.
Oh, no. So with our cat, though, we've decided, like, we're trying to fix this situation. So step one was keeping him in at night after like 10 o'clock. So he spends a good 20 minutes like meowing at us, going like, "Hey, what are you doing? Let me out. I've got things to do. I've got to get out on the town." So, you know, in that time, we like shower him with treats at the moment. He's quite a skinny cat anyway. Yeah, here we go. Mark Greenhow. We also have a cat that belongs to the estate. People feed it. They're not helping the cat. They're stealing our cat. That's true. People are stealing our cat. So we've been keeping him after 10. We give him treats, spoil him, get all the cat toys out. We've got one of those ones where a little ball rolls around the center of it. So our living room is now like a cat creche, so that we're like bribing him to stay with us. And then now he's got a litter tray. He has to stay in until he's at least had breakfast the next day. Then we let him out. But we're thinking that's not enough either. So one plan is just keep him indoors for a few days. And like, if Mark, you're in the same situation, what we've been thinking is if we keep him indoors for a few days, I reckon posters will start going up from other people going, "Our cat's gone missing for the last 3 days." So, yeah, but I don't know. Keeping a adult cat indoors against his will doesn't feel quite right to me. The other one could be like trying to cat proof our fence. I don't know if that sounds like a good idea. Like, you know, putting like a catch fence. But I don't know. A cat would probably defeat that.
My friend's got one of these things that she puts on her conservatory. It's like kind of like a massive cage. So they can kind of get outdoors and roam in the garden, but they can't go beyond the garden.
That's a bit of an eyesore, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, she's pretty cat mad, so I don't think she minds. But yeah, it's quite a big commitment, and you can jump out the conservatory window and roam around in this outdoor space, but they can only go so far. So there are options if you don't mind how your house looks, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I mean, kids pretty well. See, Lauren, you don't have children, so I've never been to your house, but I'm assuming you have nice things. Like your coffee table is nice, your sofa's beautiful. All me and Matt's stuff looks like garbage. We have garbage things because it's not worth replacing them or getting anything nice in the first place because they will definitely ruin it.
Yeah, we certainly have a lot of breakables, which may not be conducive to kittens. So we'll see how that goes when they get into the main part of the house.
I hope you like hanging plants because our cats ate all of our plants that sat on the floor.
Oh, I hate plants full stop.
Really?
I hate houseplants. I hate houseplants, yeah. Plants should be outdoors.
But no, everyone has plants indoors, don't they?
We've got one and I hate it. I would pour salt. If I had a choice, I would pour salt water on it. It's like the ugliest plant ever anyway, and I despise it.
I want to know what happened in your childhood. What some poor plant did to you when you were like 7.
My mum had so many plants. It's just it's like a chore to water them. It's like they should be outdoors where there's free water. Don't get it.
So I'm assuming husband. I don't know if you ever say his name out loud in public, but Mr. Thomas, is he someone who would like to have more plants? And he's constantly like, no, okay, he's not bothered either.
No. He likes this one plant. I don't really know why he's so attached to this ugly thing, but we have the one plant. That's his plant, but he's certainly not crying out for more. I mean, I do all like the gardening. I do all the stuff outdoors. So he's not particularly a green finger type.
Well, if you've got any gardening questions, I've got a gardening show that I'm on when I don't know anything about.
Yeah. I've got a friend who works with Botanic Gardens. I might start with her first, so that's all right.
I am a BBC presenter on a gardening show. I think I'm your first port of call. The authority that brings alone. I can't say some of the plant names though. You know, like really common plant names, like where I know the name, but someone emails in a question. I can't think of a good example now, but it's like a Latin-y looking name. And I'm like nowhere close to the correct pronunciation. So I'm like gerbateria or whatever. This is a fake example. And then my gardening expert who's on there is like, what, gerbera, mate? You know, like, you know, and just like his tone dripping with like, what's this guy doing here? Well, I'm just trying to be a curious person and get by the best I can. Yeah, a lot of fun. Call in. You're a local. You're a local to Cambridgeshire, aren't you? So that's it. Yeah, you should definitely. I'm your expert.
No, I'm sorry. It's just easy to WhatsApp Emily. She's an actual gardener, dude. She's an actual gardener.
Fine. Matt, you have had a problem with bugs and cats.
Yeah, and I've investigated this problem a little more thoroughly. So we brought home 2 cats when my daughter was 7 years old. She picked out one cat that was a gray, needy, affectionate cat that cries all the time. It's a big, huge gray cat, boy.
Like an American
cat.
cat.
Like a tiny baby voice, kind of like, it's like the Mike Tyson of cats, if you know what I mean.
Is it like American cats that look like Garfield? You know, they've got like the big round heads.
Kind of, but not really. He's not really that round. He's actually pretty trim, if I'm being honest. And then the tuxedo cat my wife picked out. On the way home, the gray cat howled and cried all the way, and the tuxedo cat Astrid was just like so calm. And then she gets home and turns into this absolute demon who demands to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning and be fed.
At 5?
And I point out at 5 in the morning, I point out to my wife that this is the cat she picked out, but it is a lap cat, so it makes it happy. But the problem we have is actually with the gray cat, because it turns out the gray cat really likes to hunt things. And in our house, the only thing to hunt are these bugs. They're like, we call them water bugs. Like imagine a cockroach. Now imagine a 3 to 4 centimeter cockroach. It's about 1 centimeter across.
Is your house? Where do you live?
I live in Brooklyn, man.
And you're infested with cockroach type creatures.
Not infested with, but
sounds like it.
This is where the problem comes with. Oh, I mean, they live in the city, you know, and we don't have rats or mice, so I guess blessing, right? All right. But the cat has every night, the cat has been bringing one of these bugs out for us to, because you know how the cats like to bring you the live thing to train you to kill it. But first he would bring the bugs out and they'd be missing a couple of legs and he dropped them upside down, for which I was grateful, because kind of like, you know, there's 2 types of zombies. You know, there's the slow zombie and the fast zombie.
Yeah.
These bugs are the fast zombie version, and they are really quick. They're actually incredibly hard to catch if you're trying to get one. So at first he would bring them out and they'd be mangled and damaged and easy to clean up. But lately he's been bringing them out like in perfectly functioning condition. And then he'll decide that that's not enough. I'll drop it right underneath my body where you really won't be able to get at it. You're going to have to like chase it around on all 4s with a paper towel to try and catch it. And the other night when I was reading to my daughter, he dropped one and I had to go catch it, kill it, deal with it. And I came back to finish reading to my daughter. And I said, you know, being a dad, I said the thing that dads always say to kids, well, you know, one day you're going to have to deal with this yourself, because her usual response is to come find me and tell me that this thing has happened. And she says, I know it happened one time when you weren't home. And I said, oh yeah, what did you do? She says, I went and hid in my room for an hour and a half. And I'm thinking I failed as a parent here.
Oh, bless her.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. I love the confession that comes out later about it as well, that you don't find out for another week. Like she didn't do that experience. And then when you came home, went, oh, Dad, thank goodness you're back. She's kept that to herself all that time. Good. I'm glad we got some cat adventures in, because my cat's been a pain in the butt. Yeah, we get woken up at 5 in the morning as well. And the cat that wants feeding at 5 in the morning, Laura, and I don't know if either of your cats have got this kind of cheeky nature about them, but she will wait for us to stir. And as soon as we stir, she'll start really meowing and meowing for food. So if we stay perfectly still, we might get away with it. But like, even if you like poke your foot out above I was experimenting with it this morning, poke your foot out under the duvet, she will jump up, hug it, and start nibbling and licking your toe to be like, good, we're in business. Come on, let's go.
Oh, we've not got to that stage yet because they're just in the
No.
conservatory overnight. And then we come down in the morning and feed them. But they have got this really cute little, they don't meow, but they've got like this little chirping sound they make. It's like a little, bloop, bloop, and that's the kind of the only noise that they make when they're playing. It's very, very cute.
Let's get back into your wheelhouse. Let's talk some cycling, Lauren. Because I have
Yes.
been out and about with the kids. It's a fun, easy fitness thing to do with the kids. Get out and about on the bikes. We've been pulling off some sick jumps over the hills. We've been like doing wheelies and backsies. I've forgotten what they're called already.
Backsies.
Now, I did have a year or two of doing serious road cycling and being out and about. I never liked it. I didn't like being out near the traffic. But what's this this indoor thingy? What's it that you've been using?
Oh, so at the start of lockdown, I ordered a turbo trainer, which is one of these things that you pop your road bike into. You take off the back wheel and you hook it up to the turbo trainer, and then you have your front wheel in like a little block at the front, and then just use an app like Zwift is one that I'm using, and you can do like real time racing. So I do sessions with my friend in Germany. So he gets on his bike over there, I get on my bike here, and we do the same session together.
How does it know how fast you've gone? How does it?
The turbo does that. It measures it all in terms of your wattage output. I mean, I don't again, such as with the diaphragm, don't ask me how it works. My husband set it all up for me. I just get on it and I cycle. It's great.
Husband does cycling as well, though, doesn't he? So he's been using it too.
Well, he has. We go on like long bike rides around the fens together. It's obviously nice and flat around here, some really pretty routes. But because we are so different in size, we couldn't use the same bike. So I'm 5'3", he's 6'3". So there's no way we could use the same bike.
Too
for the
tall.
turbo trainer.
That's excessively tall. That's pointless.
I know he's like all leg as well. He's like a 50%.
He's all leg. Love it.
Yeah, he really is. And it would just be a real faff to like swap bikes on and off. So at the moment, it's just me using it, but we might look at getting him an 8-speed bike that will fit on this turbo trainer.
So how does it? I like those ones I've seen where they're static like that, but then you've got like a video in front of you of like the rolling countryside to be cycling through.
Yeah, it's like that. So it's more, it's kind of more of a graphic than an actual real life footage. But you can see all the other people you're cycling against. And when you're in a group, you'll see like flags of where in the world they're from. So I'm often like cycling against people from Japan and America and Canada and the UK, depending on what time of day that I go. And it's nice because it's got the competitive element, which I'm missing out on some races. Like at least I can feel like I'm doing competition.
See, this is the thing.
Good.
You're basically playing an online video game, Lauren. You just haven't realised it.
Oh, see, I've got a confession to make. I don't know if I want to make it to you or not, but Ian has finally found the video game for me.
Go on, let's see it. What is it?
You're so going to judge me for it that you're not going to be impressed with the video game that I'm playing.
Come on. So your husband, put this in context. Your husband is a game developer. Is he?
Well, he works for. He manages a bunch of developers. So he's not actually a developer hands-on himself, but he works for a computer game company. Yeah.
But he's a big gamer himself. He
He is.
Yeah. So he
likes first-person shooters like
Yes.
Call of Duty.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what's he got you into?
Oh, he bought me a Switch.
Okay. Come on. It's okay. Don't be shy. It's a safe
I'm
place.
playing Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Like constantly. It's a real problem.
My kids have
I
recently.
didn't want to admit it to you because I knew you'd lose your mind about me gaming, and I'm always like, "Oh no, not gaming."
Wow.
Yeah, it's happened.
My kids have just discovered actually Animal Crossing not so long ago. Matt, do you know this game?
Yeah, my daughter has it. She ponied up and bought her own Switch with her gift money. She decided she really wanted one. It was a worthwhile investment. And the first game she got after a lot of research was Animal Crossing, and she's not even gotten a second game yet.
so Lauren, because we've looked at a Switch every Christmas since it came out, and on balance we've decided not to, mainly because the Xbox One we have is like bulletproof. I'm pretty sure it's like 8 years old. I think we've had it for 8 years, and it is not skipped a beat. So it's hard to justify getting a new system when it's still like the top tier one. So sell the Switch experience of Animal Crossing for me and what it is that has finally got you hooked.
I mean, I can't compare it to anything else. So I'm probably not the right person to do this, but it's just when you're playing this game, it's like you don't think about anything else. So it's like the perfect thing for right now. You can I mean, I guess this is probably the same with all games, right? I think that's what Ian says about Call of Duty.
Yeah.
He's just completely focused on that singular activity, and all of the rubbish that's going on in the world right now just kind of goes away. I mean, and Animal Crossing is just adorable. You have this little island and you get villagers and you go fishing, and then it introduced a new update where you go swimming, and it's just amazing. And it's cute, you know, it's just a really sweet little game, and you can like change your outfits every day. And
because the thing is, before you said that, what I was about to say to you was like the motivation of people like you to get out and do exercise and have that kind of energy, which I feed off when you come on here and or we have conversations on radio. I feed off that, and it gets me motivated. And I go, yes, I've got to go do things. Do things, Richard. Get up, do something. But I often wonder with people like you, are you just amazing people, or have you just not discovered video games and crisps? Because those things are brilliant, and you can do them instead of exercising.
You can do both.
Wow.
A lot of hours in a day. It's a lot of hours in a day.
You're at the beginning of the slippery slope at the moment, though, Lauren. Like you think, I'm just playing a bit of a video game. I'm just into this one game. And then you're going to get like sucked into other stuff. And then what you're going to have is you and Ian, you're going to have a side-by-side consoles. You know, Call of Duty, like his TV there, your TV there, both of you with headsets on, barking and shouting orders. And then you'll be like, aren't you going for a run, Lauren? No, there is no run, only objective. And that's where you're going to next. That'll be you.
No, I mean, I don't like the idea of looking at a big screen, so I just use the console, the handheld console. I don't sort of hook it up to the TV. But yeah, we have had nights where he's gaming with Gary in Germany, so the two of them will be playing Call of Duty and just hurling abuse at people, and I'll just be sat there at the Switch, you know, picking starfish off the ocean floor.
I don't think that's an unhealthy couple thing. Like me and Nicola will like sometimes we'll go, oh, it's a date night, we've got to spend this evening together. But she's watching Gilmore Girls on her 8th run through. She watches it on a loop. Like
God, I love her.
I hate Gilmore. Anyone who hasn't watched the Gilmore Girls, right? So it's this mum and daughter in a small, like, rural town. Nothing happens. Like, nothing happens ever. In 10 series, there's not a single plot point. They're just talking. And the editor...
She sleeps with a married man. How can you say there's no plot point?
That happens everywhere all the time. That's not a story. Matt...
It is in the Gilmore Girls.
To be fair, when you say the word happens, what you really mean is explosions and or gunfire.
Yeah, that's right. Nothing exploded. This is ridiculous. But they've got this...
It's emotional action. It's emotional action. You cannot deal with this.
They've got this style on the Gilmore Girls where they just talk super fast and there's no gap between everyone's conversation. So they go, hey, Mum, I'm going to the shop. I am also going to the shop. Do you like going to the shop? Yes, I'm out of biscuits. Oh, I need biscuits too. Can you put some marmalade on them? No, marmalade is from the devil. And you go, slow down. Slow down. Why are you talking this way?
It's a good thing you've never watched any movie made before about 1970 then.
Why are they all like that?
Oh, yeah. Go back and watch some of your classic black and white movies, and they talk a mile a minute. It's hilarious.
You know
Katharine Hepburn. Watch it with the Katharine Hepburn films, like Philadelphia Story.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like that. It's so quick fire. It's amazing.
It's like they're scared that they're going to run out of words or someone is going to take the words away from them. So they have to consume them as quickly as possible. Yeah, it's the worst. I hate the Gilmore Girls. Yeah, sorry.
I'll start watching it again now you said that.
Ooh, felt quite passionate about
rewatch.
that. I think because it's on so often, I've got no interest in it. So I don't know the plot that's going on. I just hear that dialogue, that quick back and forth, and I hate it. So maybe it is styled from these old... You know how I feel about old things. I'm not going to go back and watch old movies. We've got much better... We've got what?
Sorry, what?
Oh, look in the mirror. Is that what you just got? Look in the mirror. If I look in the mirror, I see the face of a barely 30-year-old. That's what I see, despite my birth certificate disagreeing strongly. But yeah, no. Where did we get to before that crushing insult? Shocking.
Gilmore Girls, the quick fire dialogue, which is how I navigate life. I talk so quickly that it just suits me.
So she'll be sat there watching terrible TV, and I'll either have a computer game on or be watching something with explosions, but just on a different device. So I don't think that's an unhealthy thing at all to sit there doing, you're still doing that activity together in a way. You've just got a different activity. And I just think that's quite healthy and unsuffocating. I know couples who they always have to watch the same thing on the TV. If they have a sitting TV evening. And I think that can build a bit of resentment up. Like, why are you controlling what each other watches? Just watch whatever you want. There's 18 devices in every house.
No, we normally watch the same thing when we're watching telly. We're rewatching House at the moment, which is absolutely brilliant. We love House. But we're both quite happy to watch that. But often, because we've seen it before, we'll be doing stuff like on our other devices as well. So I might be playing Animal Crossing at the same time as watching House.
Yeah, well, I find it to be challenging because we have family shows, which are the shows that we can only watch together as a family.
Yeah.
Then we have me and the wife shows, which are the shows that we watch and the daughter dips in and out of. And then we each have our own show that we watch when we're in charge of the TV and other people aren't interested or are off doing other things. It gets very, very complicated. But the whole point of watching a show together is so that you can either rank on it or talk about it or have something in common to discuss during your evening family time hour.
Yeah. No, I get that. We have some things that we watch together. We've been looking for the new series to watch together. We were watching Future Man, but it got terrible. So we abandoned that. And so since, what was the last one? Probably Game of Thrones might have been the last one we watched together. I don't know. There was what?
Watch Treme. Not with the kid. That's like the adult one. Yeah.
Treme. Okay,
now,
cool.
Your kids are a little too young. I mean, if they're like, 14, 16, I'd say like, yeah, they definitely would be down for that probably. But
okay, so talking about, kids and what they're too young for, they have recently discovered a program that is not appropriate. It's called Cracked, I think. It's about these little like cartoon eggs, but there's quite mature themes. It's certified 13. They've been watching it in the morning. So if they get up without us, they've been watching it. Really mature themes, not appropriate for kids of their age at all. But on Netflix, everything's nicely separated out. So they have their own profile and I trust them. So by the way, I trust them not to do anything naughty on purpose with these programs. So Netflix, they go to the kiddie program and they watch the kiddie programs and you go, that's great. Recently, they've discovered Amazon Prime and it's only a button on the controller. And we didn't know that he'd been watching shows on Amazon Prime because he sought out this Minecraft program. And this Minecraft program, when you finish, recommends this Cracked thing. And if you look at the reviews on Amazon Prime, it's all parents horrified that the Minecraft thing recommended this and their kids have been watching this horribly inappropriate thing. So they have been watching it and they've watched the whole season of it. So me and my wife sat and watched going, oh, God. Okay, so we've got to sit down and have some conversations. Firstly, didn't know you were watching Amazon Prime. Here's the rules for Amazon Prime now. And secondly, you had to explore some of those themes. Most of the time, though, Matt, it's like they're not old enough to actually pick up on the thing that's inappropriate. So we've mostly got away with it.
Yeah, well, this is what you generally learn with kids is that they'll only get it if they're old enough to get it. Otherwise, it just kind of goes whoosh, right over their head.
And of course, the worst one, which I've talked about on podcasts before, is when I was just desperate for the kid. We were so busy. I was desperate for the kids to be watching some TV. I was home alone with them and I wanted to watch the Grand Prix, the F1 Grand Prix. There's a million things on that we had to do. I was in the kitchen watching on the iPad going, right, I've watched the race start. I'm 20 minutes in. I've put them in front of a film. We were flicking through the thing and there's a film. I go, Sausage Party, what's that? And the kids go, oh yeah, we know that one. We've heard of that. I went, okay, fine, cool, that'll do. On that goes. And then I disappear into the kitchen thinking it's all sorted. Of course, Sausage Party is Seth Meyers' horrendously violent, rude and disturbing cartoon. 23 minutes in, my daughter comes in and says, Daddy, I'm a bit upset because they keep saying the F word. I'm like, what? Oh, no. And then the horror of it. I go in there, I just start watching 4 or 5 minutes of it, and it's hand on head. I think at the time they were 7 and 4. So it's hand on head going, oh my God, like, what have I done? My heart sank, Matt.
So, first of all, did not the movie trailer graphics alone give away the fact that this is going to be a bit on the adult side?
I just saw a cartoon sausage. I did not see anything that was going to give it away.
But even still, I tell you what, I would take that because this happened, a similar but different thing happened to us when our daughter was small. I was out working and my wife was still at home and she put on a movie which she thought my daughter would love, Bridge to Terabithia. Now, as it turns out, I had read the book and I knew for a fact that and this is spoiler alert, if you've not read the book and seen the movie, you probably just want to hide the next 30 seconds.
Oh, I know the movie. I know the one, yep.
And that at the end of the movie, one of the main characters actually dies. And my daughter was my wife is like, oh my gosh. I'm like, how could you make her watch that? Didn't you? But no, she had no idea. This character died until they got to the end of the movie. And then it was just like horribly traumatic.
Okay. So sorry, we've ruined that. We've gone past the no spoiler zone for this, but have you seen this film, Lauren? Bridge.
I'm aware of it, but I'm not seeing it.
So like, but the thing is, the death is like just for like no reason. Everything's going along fine, and then she just trips and falls and dies in a river, just for no reason at all. And it's like, oh, and like we're watching and going, well, there's got to be like because in most kiddie movies, like it's a fake out, right? And the kids kind of know now, and I've used the term fake out. When we were watching Angry Birds at the end, and Red is under a pile of rubble, and it were like, oh no, everyone's sad, Red's died. My daughter shouted in the cinema, nah, fake out. So they're expecting fake out. So when that character died in that thing, we're just like waiting for okay, well, where's the fake out? Like it was a dream or something. It's like, no, they just decided to make the ending suck for no reason at all. Ah, good. Oh, well, tell you what, we'll do some TV recommendations to end the show with. But I'm just really happy that you've dived into the world of video games and immersion. The next thing for you guys then is VR, so that you can just strap a screen to your face, and then that is proper the world. When we're all iRacing together, chatting on Discord, doing our racing in Sims, in VR, it is like the world just doesn't exist. Like, who cares? I lost track of time the other day, and it was 1 a.m. I got told off. I came in 1 a.m. I'm in my shed at 40 on my own with a screen strapped to my face, Lauren.
Ian regularly games until 3 or 4 in the morning. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
Should not have had kids. Kids are stupid. Really messed up here. Right, so what's coming up in the fitness agenda for Lauren Thomas, GoRunningLate.com? I saw your... So what I normally do is I stalk people's social media, because, you know, that's how we find out what they've been up to. Your social media is disgusting and sweaty, but in the limited time I was there, I saw that you were out bike riding with a bunch of people.
Yeah, well, I went out bike riding with one of my friends, Bethan, who's an Ely runner, and we happened to go out towards just the countryside around Ely. And as we were cycling in one direction, we saw 3 runners coming in the other direction, and I recognised one of their running techniques. And I was like, oh, that's one of the Ely runners. And I got closer, and there were 3 Ely runners running in the opposite direction.
Similar trainers, or
for a chat.
Have you had the same trainer or something? Have you had the same coach?
We're all Ely runners, all in the same, but you could just sort of spot from a distance how one of them just her technique is just kind of recognisable. Some people have a more recognisable style than others. And so we sort of chat to them, and as we were doing that, behind us came another Ely runner and her son, who is a junior Ely runner. And so there's all 7 of us just happened to be, we were like 6 miles outside of Ely. It wasn't even a local place. We all happened to converge at the same point. And it was so lovely because I saw legs. I've not seen the legs of these people in months. There's just so many pairs of legs. And it's really lovely to see them all.
Oh, that was nice. So you didn't actually set out all off together. You were just able to
not
have
at all.
That kind of
just all happened to bump into each other.
Yeah, I mean, you guys must be really missing the Ely runners and the park runs and stuff, because it's, you know, you've brought me along on 3 or 4 of them now, and there's such a community event, and people are just so invested into that community as well, that it must be just stinging that to not be able to get together.
Yeah, I miss it terribly. I do. I really miss just running in big groups. At the moment, I run with one other person at a time. I know you're allowed to run with more, but I don't feel particularly comfortable doing it. So there's only like 2 or 3 Ely runners who I'm seeing on a regular basis, one-on-one. And I do really miss that community feel. We have started doing a few online coaching sessions. So one of the coaches, Charlotte, will be at home on Zoom, and you'll put your phone in your pocket, turn it up dead loud so you can hear how she's instructing you. And we'll do like an interval or a tempo training session with her telling you what to do. And it's quite nice because you feel like you're all part of something.
And are we writing? Are we blogging at girlrunninglate.com?
It has fallen. I've got to be honest. It has fallen off.
You're like me with running. So your content creation is like my running. You've gotten lazy and fat. Your website is out of shape. There's less to say, dude. I'm not doing any events. All the events that I'd normally be writing about just aren't happening.
I am going to do a post about the Turbo Trainer and joining the Zwift communities. It's interesting. It's such a male-dominated community.
Turbo.
It's branded into, like, when you use Zwift and you join an event, it's branded into A, B, C, or D. And I'm in the B category in terms of like your speed and your power output. And normally there might be one other woman in that group out of 70, and the rest are all men. And it's fascinating how male dominated the sort of online cycling world is. So I'm definitely going to write a post about that. And I'm also going to write a post about how things are likely to change post-lockdown. It's not just about social distancing. It's about what more we can all be doing. It's gone again, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the warble that says we're nearly out of time with Lauren because your microphone will only take 1 hour, and now we get all your echoey. No, it's all right.
Your microphone.
Okay, but I have given you a microphone to use. You could not hurl that back in my face. That would
A microphone that gives up after an hour, apparently.
All right, sorry. It's better than the not microphone you had before. But always worth going and reading the non-time sensitive material you've got on there, girlrunninglate.com, girlrunninglate on Twitter, and on Instagram. I would say you've got a very honest Instagram feed. Most people who are into their fitness and stuff, their Instagram feed is them in really kind of, poses and lip pouting and everything.
You are looking over their shoulders, their butt sticking out. Yeah, that's not me. I'm just showing you like the sweatiest version of myself. So if that's not your bag, don't go and have a look. It's not pretty. It's not attractive, but it's very honest.
You've posted the comment before several times, which is, something isn't pretty. What is it like? Like fitness isn't always pretty.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get this whole aesthetic of posing in a face load of makeup, like I say, doing that weird enhanced butt thing. It's just like, what are you doing at the gym that gives you time to kind of stand around and just try and take 40 selfies you find on a work? So it's not really the point of it. But...
No, I think it's really brave and honest of you to not mind looking desperately unattractive on your Instagram feed. Your bravery is a pillar to us all.
And then some people do it all day, every day, Spanners, and they manage okay, don't they?
Do what all day, every day? Oh, looking ugly. I was going to say, I was just thinking about my own Instagram feed going, yeah, I don't look great on my Instagram feed either. So go and follow Lauren there. Girl Running Late everywhere, and you'll find Lauren Thomas. Follow Matt at MattPT55. You can follow me too. I'm at Spanners Ready, and the show is still at Indoors Remain. We'll be back next week on Tuesday and Thursday. We'll be talking about life and stuff, I guess. That's what we do here. Until we see you again, work hard, be kind, and have fun. And when you can, remain indoors. And wear a mask. We'll talk about masks next week with Matt, right? But look, little hint, little spoiler for next week, right? I have ordered Mist Apex face masks and Remain Indoors branded face masks as well. So I am going to be looking sick when I'm not sick, like sick, right? Like millennial sick.